Hey everyone. This week I thought I'd give you an update of what actually happens when we do a chemo treatment. So I had my chemo treatment earlier today, and I've told you that the first thing that happens is we meet with our doctor, make sure everything's okay, check my weight, my blood pressure, my vitals, and then we go ahead and head up to the infusion center. Once we're at the infusion center, the first thing they do again is install a needle into the port, which is in my upper chest here. And that gives them easy access to be able to draw blood for testing and to be able to infuse the treatment drugs. And so we have to wait while once the blood is taken, to make sure that all my blood counts and platelets and all of those things are at an acceptable level to move forward with the chemotherapy. Once that testing has come back and we're cleared, which we were today, thankfully, we start with some pre-medication. So we start first with about 500 milliliters of saline just to hydrate my body. And then we work with some pre-medications that deal with steroids and Benadryl, which makes you a little drowsy. And then also a longer term nausea medication that's supposed to last for 24 to 48 hours. And so that really helps move through the chemo process. Once that was done, then we moved into the we moved into the clinical drug, and that was a 30-minute infusion. So they switch over to that drug and it pumps for 30 minutes. Following that, I moved to Opdivo. Opdivo is the immunotherapy drug, and so that one also takes 30 minutes. So now we're a couple hours in, and now we get to the chemo drugs. The chemo drugs will run over the course of 2 hours for the first batch, and then the second batch runs for 30 minutes. When that batch is done, then, as I've mentioned before, we get to take a pump home. And so this evening, I'm displaying my pump that goes with me everywhere for the next 48 hours. And as you could see, there is some tubing that's running off of the pump. So this tubing runs out up my shirt, and underneath here is my port where everything is attached, and I'm being administered those additional chemotherapy drugs over the next 46 hours. And so I will work through tomorrow with the chemo pump on, and through Saturday. And Saturday afternoon around 2:30, I will head back to the infusion center. We will do another hydration treatment. They will remove the pump, and then I get an Neulasta, which is another drug that helps with the recovery of my blood cells and platelets. And so that will go on my arm, and 27 hours after they place it on my arm, it will take about 40 minutes to inject, I think 20 minutes actually, to inject the medication. And then that will, then I can take that off of my arm. It looks very similar to, if you've ever seen folks that have insulin, the insulin patches, it looks very similar to that. So that's a typical day in the life of a cancer patient when they go for their therapy. I hope that was educational for you, and that you learned something new. And if you're supporting someone who's going through cancer, that you sort of understand some of those steps that take it in. And that's why we say we're in for the long haul. The good news for me today was, because I'm feeling fine, I'm able to work through, joined in on some mandatory HR training from work for about 2 hours, and did some other work as well. So just grateful that I have the opportunity to work remotely, that I can do it from the infusion center, and I'm grateful for my wife who comes in and sits with me during these times. For my gratitude moment this week, I'm once again grateful for my wife, Megan. Every other week we go to chemo. She accompanies me. She doesn't complain. She sits in a really hard chair while I get to sit in a chair that has heating and massaging. But what I really love is that before we head out, earlier in that week, she'll ask me kind of what I'm craving. And she's got a bag that she packs, and it has snacks and treats and food. It includes my Crocs, so that I can take my sneakers off, but when I need to get up and use the restroom, I'm able to just put the Crocs on and go and use the restroom. And so I'm just grateful for all that she does to not only care for me, but prepare and anticipate my needs and what I might need as I'm going through chemotherapy. And so this week I am once again grateful for Megan and all that she does to help me get through my chemo days. This is Craig with One Man's Cancer Journey, and I wish for you a blessed week.